Mo, and this is your boy Nayday. Say hey.
Yo, what's going on, Katie?
How are you people? Nice to see you. Oh,
Now we're on.
That's exactly right. We've been thinking about things in the atmosphere.
Well, and that means higher education as well.
That's true
We're
too.
officially on.
We
now.
are officially
Shahid
on.
says it. It is the truth. It is the gospel.
Good evening, Canadiana. I'm Mo. This
We got
is
Nayday.
And welcome to Higher Thought.
We're doing our thing. We got our little notes tonight. Hey, and good for us. 2 shows in a row. Well, you weren't here last week.
Last week I was out of town.
Have you ever made 2 weeks in a row?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's just
Well,
that.
it's usually me that was canceling in the fall anyways.
Well, I was out of town visiting a lady friend.
Well, it's the holidays.
Yeah, well, getting lucky in Kentucky.
Oh, man, and I got lucky in Louisiana. Well, but it wasn't that lucky. Oh, man. Went on a little date last week.
Oh, how was that?
Oh, it was good times, good times. But,
I'm hearing reservation in your voice.
well, there's the term, for somewhat crazy people, and the different levels, and then there's batshit level.
Yeah.
Batshit.
Ladies and gentlemen. Guano. Just in case you didn't know, Higher Thought is TVMA.
We say S words.
We say lots of words. I mean, we got a couple of 100,000 words of vocabulary between us, so there's lots of words we're going to say.
I mean, Abe might have said those words. Hamilton might have said those words. Is that or that's Jackson? No, I don't know.
No, Jackson.
Hamilton, what is he on? Is he on?
He's
one?
on the 10.
He's on the 10.
He's on the 10. Sketchy mother fudge cake. Yeah.
But speaking of sketchy government officials.
Oh, yes. Okay. Let's not talk about the wall, right?
Well, federal government shut down. Everybody, well, at least the federal workers are feeling the hurt.
Right. And a couple of my friends that are civilian contractors are temporarily unemployed. And they didn't do anything. I mean, they were providing a valuable service, and now they're pawns in this grand game being played at the higher echelons of American society.
Well, right, and it is apparently the longest shutdown, I guess.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow
Okay.
it will be 20 days, which would be the longest shutdown. Thank you, President Trump.
Well,
remember,
and
you're going to take the mantle. You're not going to blame the Democrats.
Well, and here's the thing, though. And this is where I play devil's advocate on the show.
I know.
Every single president for the last 30 years
Right.
has had a government shutdown.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Not in the last 30 years.
Every single president the last 30 years since Reagan.
George H.W. Bush didn't have a
Yes, he
shutdown.
did.
Who? When? How?
There's a look it up. Look it up.
Look it
I
up.
read the
Okay.
article.
You read it? Okay.
I don't cite my articles on my page. I just write the notes.
You just write the notes. Yes, we do. We write notes.
And actually, very recently in 2013, we had a 16-day federal government shutdown because President Obama was pounding the table saying, "Give me my Obamacare."
Was that what it was? Was it Obamacare?
It was Obamacare.
Except it's not Obamacare. It's called the Affordable Care Act.
It was the Affordable Care Act.
Affordable
but I call
Care
it Obamacare.
You can call it.
America calls it Obamacare.
You can call it blue butt monkeys, as far as I'm concerned. Legally, it's
You can
called
call
the
it crap potato salad.
crap potato salad. Speaking of which, no, I'm sorry. we're
So
not
that
talking
was a
about lunch today.
16-day government shutdown. So it's happened recently.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
and of course the unpaid workers. You got to feel for them. A lot of people are stepping up and giving them help and
Right.
food and different stuff like that.
Do
Trump
you
had
know we don't get fresh beer?
I
If
did
the-
hear that on.
If the government doesn't go back to work, we don't get fresh beer. I don't buy the pasteurized, processed, generic American beer. I tend to like locally brewed. right? You know, you spend your money in your community. And guess what they can't do? They can't sell us beer unless the USDA comes in and gives them the stamp of approval.
Yeah, well,
You don't drink beer, so it's your fault.
yeah, but
Yeah,
for
damn
me, the less
rum
government, like, are these people really even necessary? So Trump made a speech about it on TV the other night, and of course they had the Democratic retort, and that got all kind of memes because they put two ancient fossils for the Democratic Party response.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm
and-
sorry. Nancy should not. Just should not. She should go home. That's what
She
Nancy
really
should do.
should. And Elizabeth Warren,
Did you hear that Ted Cruz introduced a bill to
I got it right here.
Do you constitutional amendment
Yeah.
to have senators being limited to 2 terms and representatives being led to 3 limited to 3?
Long overdue, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Long overdue.
Oh yeah, being a politician should not be a career choice.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, and you look at some of these politicians' net worth, and they're worth like a couple $100 million.
Yeah.
And like on a federal salary of like 100, 200, 300,000, whatever it is. And how is it that you're making that? You know,
Right.
like President Obama, his last year of his presidency, he claimed on his taxes $10 million, even though his salary is only $450,000.
But that's because he sold the book. That's because he did his speaking tours.
Well, and he probably does all,
Yeah,
like,
well-
you know, he does like the Final Four bracket on
Okay,
for college
wouldn't
basketball.
you do a speaking tour if they're giving you like $50,000 to $75,000 a night to talk for 30 minutes? Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Duh.
Get this one though. In 2014, I saw a little video where they cited several times where the media was calling the border a crisis.
Were they?
Quote, and that was through the news cycle. I saw
Okay.
several news stories.
Which media?
Pretty much all of the media.
Okay, no,
like the CNN,
all of the media.
even
Yeah.
all the liberal media. So like the mainstream, it was
yeah.
part of under Obama.
Under Obama.
Under Obama, and
Under
that
Obama.
was even part of their lexicon in the Democratic Party. But now that we got President Trump saying it, oh my God, he's so evil. Of course, spending $14 billion of tax money for a wall is
Yeah.
kind of bad. Not that I'm necessarily supporting that, but it's just that the slant in the media.
Okay.
And that is the theme I want to get to of the show tonight, of how
Okay.
normalcy has dissipated in the country.
What is normal?
It's a setting on the washing machine.
Yeah, yeah. That and the extra spin thing so your clothes don't have to spin forever in the dryer.
And no, white people, the dryer is not an ironing board.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it
for
is.
white people.
We don't own an iron.
Whoever else.
We don't own an iron. I don't own an
I
iron.
haven't ironed since like 1993.
The last time I ironed, I was in ROTC, so that would put it at 1977.
1977.
Yeah.
Let's see. As far as my last little political story here. Oh wait, yeah, I got one more. Let's see. Federal court.
Yes.
Uh,
What'd the federal court do?
Well, I'm gonna save that one for next.
Okay.
How about new Brazilian president
Oh God.
Bolsonaro?
Yeah.
He is pimping out the Amazon rainforest to corporations for extraction.
Right. Come on in. Cut down the trees.
Come on!
Make sure you pay me.
Which is like one of the highest concentration of oxygen in the entire world.
That and algae.
Did you know that Mandeville, Louisiana used to be one of the highest concentrations of oxygen in the world because it had so many trees? But not
Mandeville?
anymore because it's just basically subdivisions
Right.
and little mini malls now.
McMansions and mini malls.
McMansions and mini malls.
Welcome to
Mandeville.
America, ladies and gentlemen.
Which I grew up in Mandeville.
Well, that's no excuse.
Very pretty, very pretty. How about a professor at Portland State? He's in trouble.
Did he use the word he?
Well, close. He is in trouble for publishing fake gender studies
Oh,
in
Jesus,
order to
God
prove a
almighty.
point that academia turns a blind eye to reason when it comes to gender studies.
Okay, tell me about that one.
So one of the fake studies that he produced, and it really only kind of mentioned this one, even though they said he had others, because I tried to look for an example in the article, how dog parks promote rape culture.
Wait. Okay, this is a fake study?
It was a fake study.
Okay, how dog
And so,
parks-
like, he's basically in trouble for ethical violation, but he was kind of almost doing it, like, to check up, like,
Right.
almost to show, like, hey, this is ridiculous on how biased we are on these types of studies.
You know what? There's a lot of things in America that are ridiculous.
It seems as though we've lost our mind. Let's see.
Yeah.
NBC journalist that quit says that mainstream media manipulates the public. Duh.
That's what mainstream and media, when you combine it, it's shaping public image, impression, policy.
And he says also that they condone endless expansion of war in the Middle East
Right.
and North Africa.
We gotta get out.
We've been there a long time.
We gotta get out. I mean, look, we can help the people, help the Kurds. The Kurds got screwed by the Europeans post-World War II. What was Kurdistan got carved up between Iraq and Syria and Jordan. I mean, Turkey. They had a homeland.
if they got Kurdistan and Turkey, if they like combined and formed a country, do you think they could be Turdistan?
No, they want to cut the Turkey part out. Yeah. Yeah.
Joke.
Yeah. Oh, no, I got that part, but it's just,
Turdistan.
yeah, well, that's like, I live in Bumfuckistan, so,
Bumfardistan.
yeah. Well,
Bumfreakistan.
Fudgistan, yes.
Bumfudgistan.
Yes.
There you go. Let's see. How
And they
about
make good gumbo.
then they make a good gumbo. New congresswoman.
Which one?
The Muslim Talib or whatever.
Right, who said we're going to impeach this mother fudger?
I can't remember if she was the one that said that. She was the one that was sworn in on the Quran. But basically, she has a map displayed in her office with Israel replaced by Palestine in the Middle East.
Well, it was Palestine in the first place, so a name change is a bad thing? Wait, is the rest of her map showing the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics?
Could be.
Could be. It could be an old map.
Yeah, but
People need to buy current stuff,
what?
you know?
Why wouldn't she just have a map of her district?
I
I mean,
don't know.
it's just like let's put our map of the Middle East up in our office.
I wouldn't have a map because I know where the places are.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
And another thing about that is, have we been infiltrated?
Only
what-
by the Illuminati.
What do they call that? Like whenever the Muslims like secretly infiltrate you, and it's like Allah says it's okay to lie to the infidels, and what do they call it?
I don't know. You're the one that's
And then
spinning this tale.
eventually, they, infiltrate themselves into our culture and change it to where basically anything that is said against the norm is racist, and then eventually, you can instill some Sharia law. And
Oh, Jesus Christ. Really? Really?
really? Really?
No.
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 Moving on.
No.
Okay, so I've got a few stories on this one, and this one has just kind of become a 19 kind of issue.
Okay.
It's an
Yeah.
issue, and I'm sure you've got a lot to say on the issue.
We got issues.
And we've talked about it on the show before, but let's start it off with kind of ending all of the political type stuff here with federal court agrees with Donald Trump on the military trans ban. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts?
Yeah.
It's not anybody's business. Can they do the job? Can they pass the physical requirements?
Yes, I agree. But here's the thing. A lot of people had like
A lot?
well, there is articles with numbers, and you could look this up.
Right.
So, there basically the military would pay for your transgender reassignment surgery and hormones and going through the procedures. So a lot of transgender people were going to do their transition in the military while basically doing their entire medical procedure instead of serving their time.
Do you know that the amount of money that was spent on that sort of process is a 0.0 something fraction of a percent of the total military medical spending?
Well, I mean, like, that's not
it's
surprising.
it's so
But
minuscule.
That is the rhetoric.
I mean, how many people, dudes? If you're not really a chick on the inside, are you gonna get your junk snipped?
well, and I mean, in my opinion, personally, which this show we tend
do
to bounce-
opinions. We got
we do
opinions.
opinions. Honestly, if they can pass the physical test and do the job, then why
Then
not let
what
them?
difference does it make?
However, I do not believe that taxpayer dollars should have to pay for their gender reassignment surgeries and whatnot.
Right.
That should be worked out of the deal, in my opinion.
In your opinion,
You
right?
know, I mean, like, why should the taxpayers have to take upon that?
Why should the taxpayers
burden.
have to fix their teeth?
Well, why should we have to pay for the take on the burden and pay for someone? Even if for us it's like a fraction of a cent.
Right.
But why should people in general have to pay for someone else and their medical issues?
Okay, they volunteered for the military. They theoretically have served their country well. Should they not be?
Okay, so maybe should there be like a couple years that you have to be in before you could do that? Or?
If you get sent on a tour of duty and you end up with PTSD, is it not incumbent upon the government to treat you for the PTSD?
Of course. So, but they should also treat you for preliminary issues that you have. So if you come in with, like, say, anxiety or depression or bipolar or ADHD, whatever it may be.
Right.
I guess, technically you look in the DSM-5, which is what psychologists and counselors use.
Right.
You'll see gender identity disorder, and that's a medical issue that is certainly treated. But maybe the treatment, like, I don't know, like gender reassignment surgery can be upwards to $100,000.
True.
So.
And how many people do you really think are
I don't know how
advantage?
many. I don't know. But still. Just the principle.
I see the principle. The
So,
last time I went to see the principal, I got paddled.
I actually got paddled in there. So let me kind of go through those similar stories that I have to kind of go along with that. How about this one? A website called transkids.biz is selling genital prosthetics for trans children for ages 8 to 13.
Genital prosthetics.
Yep.
So is this fake willies?
Fake willies and fake noo-noos.
Oh, God. Okay. There's going to be some disappointed people on that first
And not
day.
to mention, you've got Crayola with the makeup.
Wait,
Crayola makeup.
Crayola does makeup now?
Yeah, it's basically washable makeup.
I'm glad
and
my
they have a
children
boy
missed
and
that.
a girl on the cover of it. And the boy's all made up and looking all pretty, and
Well, sometimes when my stepsisters were older stepsisters were trying stuff out, I was a guinea pig.
I've been a guinea pig.
And they did
I
the
mean, a lot of
thing
guys
at
have,
the corner of the eye.
Do you do that at a drag show? I've been
right.
to drag shows, and more power to you. But
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't make a.
But I wouldn't. No, I probably wouldn't buy my kid a No, I wouldn't buy my kid, no matter what their gender, a makeup kit. Plain and simple. I can say that.
That's kind of on them. And the mom, in that regard.
Okay,
But how
well-
about this one?
Okay.
The APA, the American Psychological Association, their guidelines now declare that traditional masculinity
Traditional
Traditional
masculinity.
masculinity is harmful to boys and men.
Okay, does
But
traditional
little trans girl boys are okay.
does traditional masculinity include the wife beating and the
No, it's more about
psychological
suppressing
abuse?
your feelings.
Oh, okay.
Because technically
I'd
men
like
used
I'd
to
like
hold
to
it
see
in.
multiple studies
And here's the
before
thing,
I'm willing to
is-
buy that.
As somebody that's trained in psychology, I mean, master's degree in psychology. Hello. I mean, that's not necessarily a doctor. That's not necessarily
Right.
an expert. I'm not saying anything like that. But just kind of an observation is that we have shifted somewhat from the male-dominated. You can definitely argue in the
Yeah.
20th century.
Yeah.
Logical. Thinking with like your brain, right side.
Hopefully
of your
you're
brain,
thinking with
to
your brain.
more of an artistic, more woman, feminine, emotional
Okay,
type
so
of
if you're
thinking.
artistic, you're feminine?
No, it's just like not necessarily effeminate, but just like it's the the yin, the yang.
Okay,
the,
so my friend Ian, who's like a big dude,
yeah.
totally bearded, and he's an artist for a living.
Okay.
So he's channeling his feminine
He's
side.
channeling the left side of his brain.
Oh,
yes.
the left side of his brain. Now, why did it become feminine earlier?
Well, it's the masculine and the feminine, like it in qualities.
Okay.
In qualities, not necessarily in like mannerisms or for instance, nurturing,
Right.
caring, empathetic are all kind of more feminine qualities, whereas like leadership, I guess aggressiveness, are more the male qualities or the masculine qualities.
Okay.
You get where I'm
So
going
we're
with it.
saying
We're
those
talking
qualities,
Yes.
those male qualities are negative, according to this APA study?
Well, basically, it was saying like the aggression,
Well, aggression, unless it's warranted. I mean, there are times that you need to open up that can of whoop ass.
the dominance, let's see, just masculine qualities. Let's see, holding in your emotions. Yeah.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Right. Working hard and like outside and
I
with
work
hands.
hard and I don't work outside.
No,
I did my time in the mechanic pit, but you know what?
does work?
Using my brain is a much better way to earn a living than busting
No
my
doubt.
knuckles on somebody's
I'm
car.
not going to argue with you on that. So, it's just kind of like slanted, So it's like, in order to be traditionally masculine, that's not good. But hey, it's like, here, have some kids, 8 to 13 trans prosthetics. And,
8 to 13 trans prosthetics. That makes my head hurt to even wrap my brain around it. Not that look, do your thing. Whatever your deal is, do it. But when you read it out like that, it makes my brain hurt.
no doubt.
No.
So, moving on from that, I suppose.
I mean, I guess I could use a prosthetic to help my, troll. This is
Well, luckily for you, coming out this year,
coming out this year.
we've got male sex robots with unstoppable bionic penises.
Oh, Jesus God Almighty. For real? What company is this? Please, I want to buy shares now.
I did not actually get that, but the company name, but it's coming out. It's coming out.
It's coming out.
Like literally and figuratively.
Hey, ladies deserve the love they can afford to.
Well, sure. And I saw a picture. The robot looked kind of robot-y, but like they're pretty realistic nowadays, and apparently supposed to have a rocket dong,
Sorry.
Yes, indeed.
Pardon us, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's see, some good news for the smokers out there. How about this one?
Replacement lungs?
Yes, well, kind of. There's a new drink out there that cleanses your lungs,
Oh, Jesus. Tell me about this one.
which has turmeric,
Turmeric, yes.
ginger, and onion in it.
This
yummy.
This is a drink, an inhalant? What?
No, it's a drink,
Oh,
and
that's such bullshit.
and it like cleanses your lungs.
That's such bullshit. It doesn't work that way.
I don't know.
Man, if you want to cleanse your lungs,
You would
you
think
gotta
it would have
lean
to be
back,
like
you
a
gotta
vape or
pipe that
something,
stuff
right.
in and flush
Wait,
it.
do that again?
Yeah. No.
That's like your typical Saturday night right
no,
there for
yeah,
you,
that's
right?
what your mama said.
How about this one? A Dutch company unveils the world's
Exactly. And I want one too.
Okay, Dutch company unveils the world's first house entirely made out of cannabis.
Yep, you can do that. You bust up the fibers, you cast them into bricks, planks, whatever, and you glue, screw, nail that stuff together.
That's what I did with your mom last week.
Exactly.
And I always remember watching Cheech and Chong when I was younger.
Right, the van.
And I was like, the van, there's no way they could do that. And
oh,
then,
man.
you know, like,
it's just fiberglass, you're just using chopped hemp. But
Yeah.
you're not going to get high off the hemp.
well, probably
No,
not.
it's
I mean,
just
you can
gonna
do all
give you-
kind of stuff with hemp.
Oh, man, paper,
Well, which hemp
clothing.
is actually legal now in America.
Yes,
You know, so,
yes.
which was, in my opinion, probably the main reason why marijuana was made illegal in the 30s.
The reason that marijuana was made illegal
Alcohol.
was made illegal in the 30s was a rise in anti-immigration feeling and attributing marijuana use to Mexicans and blacks.
I mean, doctors used to
And-
prescribe heroin, you know.
Right. It was a means of social control.
Right.
And they had no way to separate the difference between marijuana that gets you high and hemp that's a fiber product. Now it's easily testable as to what the vegetative matter is. And the earliest blue jeans, Levi Strauss blue jeans, were made of hemp canvas.
I could see that.
Everybody knows that the Constitution's on hemp paper.
Of course.
Most of the rigging in America's warships up until the 1800s, during the Age of Sail, was hemp rope.
Of course. George Washington grew hemp.
My grandfather grew hemp.
Fantastic.
When the United States lost access to hemp from Southeast Asia, they paid American farmers to not grow whatever it is they usually grew. In his case, it was tobacco, and they paid them instead to grow hemp.
Of course. Which I think they said something like, 90% of farmers now are like corporate farmers, pretty much.
Yeah. The mom and pops love them. God love them.
Speaking of which, Monsanto pretty much is getting ready to take over the marijuana industry.
Oh, have you been seeing the news? The stocks that are peaking and they get gobbled up by somebody else? And who's behind this shell corporation that's gobbling up all these stock
doubt.
companies?
And so that's kind of the dangers of investing into that market, I guess,
Right.
at this time.
Well, it's
I mean, I'm sure you end up keeping your shares, but
It's kind of like buying into any of the blockchain, the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, whatever. You can
it's
make
all
a
insider
buttload of
trading,
money,
folks.
or you can get reamed.
Exactly. I thought this was pretty cool. MIT came up with some plants that glow like a lamp. And it could end up one day replacing streetlights.
That would be cool.
Yeah, natural.
I wouldn't mind having shrubbery that goes
like,
along the
glows.
walkway that glows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess they did some with the genetics that made like the leaves grow.
Right.
glow
Well, they
a little
have the
bit.
glowy fish, and they've been doing that genetic And
That's really cool, though.
yeah.
I want some glowy plants. I'm sure a glowy plant right now would probably cost thousands of dollars.
Right.
But still.
New band, Glowy Plant.
We are the glowy plants. Dun, 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 dun. The glowy plants. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, just like that.
Exactly. Buy the record today. So
Actually, tomorrow we're recording tonight.
I guess we were so rude. We went 30 minutes on the show without even inviting you to call us because you hadn't been calling lately.
Yeah.
You know, but we don't.
We're feeling lonely. Well, the people that I know that watch the show tend to watch it on replay.
I'd say that's kind of the norm.
Yeah. But anyway, 337-366-8950. And when you get the message, make sure to pound the deuce.
Yep. How about the Golden Globes? Worst rating in a decade?
I knew her. She had golden. Okay. No, right. Is that TV, movies? Is it
it's movies.
Industry sponsored? Is it a popular vote? I don't know. There's so many of those stupid things, and I ignored
like
them
another
all.
kind of like Academy Awards. But speaking of which, Kevin Hart was the host of the Academy Awards.
Right, and then they kicked him off
right.
because he made bad gay jokes like 20 years ago or whatever.
He made a joke about his kid being gay or something like that, and how he wouldn't let his kid be gay or something like that. And it's just like people go research your jokes from 20 years ago and call you a racist, call you a homophobe, and this is like back then we had a sense of humor and we could joke about stuff, But anyways, he said he's over apologizing.
Good. He said what he said, and then
yeah, well, he's already apologized for it, and it's like get over it. For real.
Right. How much can I apologize?
Yeah, no doubt. And it's just like he didn't really apologize. He's like apologize for offending if you're offended. But I'm not apologizing for what I said, because it still rings true today, and it was a fucking joke.
It's a joke, right?
Pardon my French. I'm usually a little better about that. But,
yeah. Hey, you're doing my job.
Yeah.
Well done, young man.
You're a dad.
I am a dad.
You're a dad. Well, Dad apparently made an app that locks his kid's phone until you get a text. They text you back.
Wow.
That's a pretty cool little app.
Yeah, that's pretty. Well, I'm lucky. My kids text me back.
But if your kid doesn't text you back, say they're at a party
if they're
something.
pulling.
Like sneaking out, like, hey, where you at? Curfew. You won't be able to use your phone until you text back.
Wow. All right.
Game changing. That's game changing there.
But my kids. Do you think they'd not text me back?
Yeah, you're the
honestly,
cool dad. You're the cool dad.
No, I'm not the cool dad. I'm just a reasonable human being.
Well, sure. How about round out the stories here?
Ooh, I like it when we round out the stories. Do put a little rub on it.
Which I will have to tell you about that date night a little more in detail. It's pretty funny. How about this one? Kind of disturbing.
Wait, more disturbing?
Oh, yeah. A lot of disturbing.
Yeah.
How about with the use of PrEP? Have you heard of PrEP?
PrEP?
PrEP.
No.
It is a drug.
Okay. Well, I know how to prep for an exam and that sort of thing, but the drug. Tell me about the drug.
Well, it prevents HIV.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Rockin'.
So basically, it's a pill you take, and it 99% prevents HIV.
Right. And how long do you take it for? Forever, or just as long as you're promiscuous?
You take it, I guess, daily.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyways.
No, that's cool.
Since the implementation of this drug, which I guess is highly popular among gay men.
It should be popular among a lot of people because HIV
Really, right?
is,
Really?
I mean, Southeast Asia, Africa.
But here's the deal, though.
Right.
Condom use has gone down since the use of PrEP.
Man, you got to wrap that rascal no matter what.
But when you got people like the New York Times having an article saying that PrEP is replacing condoms and kind of promoting it, and
Oh,
like
did they?
you know, kind of
They promoted it?
New York Times, yeah, and so
Wow.
they had to kind of go back and retract the article.
Okay.
You know, just because they're kind of saying, oh, it's this magical drug that you don't have to. Wear the protection because you won't get HIV, but you can get all kind of other stuff.
With HIV, yeah,
Got the
you know
chlamydia,
me. Right,
you know.
there's all kinds of. Yeah.
Warts on my stuff. Warts on my stuff. Yikes!
Man,
It's not a pretty picture.
no,
It's
I
not a
don't.
pretty picture.
I don't even.
You've seen it in your health book before. It's not a pretty picture.
Yeah. What he said.
How about this one? Some studies.
Oh,
Studies.
Studies. What'd they study?
Got some studies. The biggest jump in overdoses. Could you guess?
Middle-aged women.
Middle-aged women, what are you doing? You're taking your drugs.
They're just burnout, man.
Yeah, they're over it. Well, it's
Yeah,
because
totally.
well, it's because they're having to do like the momming, the adulting, and working with all the women's rights. And gotta have a job. I can't
Okay, but how many of those women are being a mom to their husband, their
That
spouse?
too.
I mean,
of course.
I mean, some dudes just like, oh, I got a check. She's gonna
50
take.
years ago is
she's
what
gonna
I'm getting
take care
to.
of me.
Is before, like there was only a third of the women in America working in the 1950s.
Right.
There is 2/3 of the women working in, I think it's a little higher than that, even closer to 75% now.
Okay.
That of women that are working, in the married household.
Okay.
Nowadays.
Right, because it's harder to make a living.
Surely.
Right, harder
There's
to
an
live.
economic need for it, you
Right.
know. However, that kind of changed as far as mom was kind of traditionally.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
always, but traditionally. Mom was
Traditionally.
always kind of,
Home.
working at home, raising
Right.
the kids, keeping the house kind of done, cooking, whatever it was. The mom duties. The traditional mom duties,
That's your beaver cleaver America.
Beaver Cleaver America, indeed.
And that's not.
And they probably went to church on Sundays.
I don't remember Ward or.
Not on the television show, but in that universe.
In that universe?
In that universe, they went to church on Sundays because everybody went to church on Sundays in their town.
I hated going to church.
But you had to go.
Only because she made me.
Same here, But hey, didn't you learn some cool things?
Yeah, I
though?
learned that.
And some good life lessons.
Right, that I don't believe that stuff.
Some of them. Well, what kind of church did you go to?
Baptist, Southern Baptist.
Southern Baptist wasn't that bad.
Do you know why they don't have sex standing up?
Why is that?
Because people might think they're dancing.
Okay.
No dancing in the Southern Baptist Church.
No dancing?
Nope.
What kind of Southern Baptist church did you go to?
It was pretty hardcore.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I got you. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I just couldn't.
Kentucky.
I couldn't do that thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I was in Kentucky, I'd like to go to a church that had a ukulele.
You'd be like, yeah. You go to a
Play
church
to the
that
crowd.
has
Play to the
snakes.
crowd.
Has snakes. You could snake handle in church.
Your mom snake handles in church.
No,
What does that mean? What does it mean?
because church.
Oh, church.
Right.
Yeah. So, Kurt. How about this one?
How about that one?
You know who shares the most fake news on the Books of Faces? Like what age group? Or generation?
The old folks.
The baby boomers.
The old folks. Because people like me who aren't woke. See, I finally got to use that.
Using it.
Right, they just freaking repost, share
Oh,
things.
look at this one. That one says pro-Trump. Make America great. Do it. I'm going to share it.
God almighty. I'm so glad I gave up the book face thing.
You can't blame me.
No.
You can't blame me. I
Well,
haven't
actually,
ever
I
voted
can't.
for a Republican or a Democrat. So,
Ever?
not for the presidency.
Oh, okay. See, now we're qualifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the last few elections, I haven't voted for a Republican or a Democrat.
No, I've
For
never voted
president?
for either. So, there you go. Third party, and let's get our 5% so we can debate. I mean, like, really.
Every party needs a pooper.
Every party needs a pooper.
That's why you invited us.
Next time, Gary Johnson, maybe you can remember the name of the little African base, that got you in trouble, like when you couldn't remember it in the interview. Which, of course, he was close to. He was 4% at that point. And, he blew it. He blew it.
Yeah, well,
It's all good. They're never really going to win.
it's a way to show
Until, we
dissent.
wake up like France and, some of those
Oh,
other...
do we get to wear yellow vests and start burning stuff?
Maybe ours can be green vests. I don't know.
Orange.
Orange.
Because you can get those at Walmart.
And then
They got the
when we
yellow
have
and they got the
World War
orange.
III, everybody can just wear different color vests. That way we know which teams we're on. It'll be like a game of paintball.
Yo, I'm good with the game of paintball, but
Let's just change the ammunition of wars to paint.
paint. Yeah.
I mean, we can figure it out.
Yeah.
Hey, if you get hit with the paintball, you're dead.
out, right.
You're out. Go home.
Go home. Yeah. I'd rather take
Why not?
one. I'd rather take one with a paintball between the eyes than.
Or maybe there's
A
even a kill zone.
7.62
Like
by
if you get hit in the
39.
head, with your mask or something like that, hey, that would have been a kill shot. You're
Yeah,
dead.
you're
you know?
dead.
Let's think about that. Let's maybe change all ammunition in the world to paint.
To paint.
I'm sure they'd love that.
Right. Intercontinental ballistic paintball.
Paintballing. But you gotta wonder.
And a whole city gets hosed with paint.
But you gotta wonder sometimes, though. Listening to the old Democratic NPR on the way, and they were saying that basically whenever Democrats are in power, and they talk about gun control and everything, that's when gun sales hugely spike. So you gotta wonder if maybe the gun makers know that. And they maybe pay these Democrats to be anti-gun and let's maybe create a bill that's going to take away your guns, and that way it sells tons of guns. I mean, that's a great sales ad.
No, that's
strategy.
That's a good thought, but the gun manufacturers are going to have to create a shell company to then funnel funds to
exactly
candidates.
because they are on paper Republican people.
It doesn't matter. Contribute to the Democrats through the shell company.
Through the shell company, right?
To leverage them into.
They can fund both sides.
Right.
Let's go to war on both sides.
Right.
And
And they rack up.
yeah, exactly.
It's like you elect a Republican, the prices of most guns tend to drop. And that's generally when I tend to buy.
America is how old? Almost 250?
250.
Almost 250 years. So needless to say, we've been at war for over 200 of those years. So it's hey, there's an industry making a lot of money making these weapons, and as long as they're doing all that, then we're gonna stay at war.
Okay, well, I don't mind making money,
Yeah.
but we shouldn't believe
We should
for somebody else.
shoot for sport.
We shouldn't believe
Shoot for
for
sport.
somebody else.
How about this one? Surprise! Men actually, based on a study, men actually face more discrimination than women.
Oh my God. In which industry?
Did not specify.
It did not specify.
Okay.
Dude, no. I'm not letting that one go. Bring the next one.
Just like white people and straight people face more discrimination? No? No? Too soon? Okay.
No, I'm sorry. We got to drop below the like 49%.
Right.
Right. Then we're legitimate
Hey, they're going to see us on
minority.
replay and be like, hey, what were they saying? I'm going to have to watch them on time next week so I can call and be like, hey, y'all are crazy.
Well, at least hopefully the sound will be going out with this one.
You know, I mean, Shaheed was on controls tonight, so.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. Being single will kill you faster than obesity.
What?
Well, you don't get laid, you don't have any companionship.
Right.
You know, so it's like that and enjoying like a bacon cheeseburger and versus, you know, whacking off, you know. I mean,
Well, if you need to rub one out, you know, that's just the way things go. But,
sure.
yeah.
How about scientists say that, well, if scientists say it, then it's gotta be true.
If scientists say it's got to be true. Go
Well,
ahead.
scientists say that we can sneak into a parallel universe through our dreams, which I kind of find far out.
It's far out, all right. I'd call bullshit on that one.
Well, I mean, like, dreams are like things that happened in your life, but in a different kind of way.
Are
and
they?
It's like they happen in a setting that maybe you
So
have
are
seen
you
on
creating
TV
a branch
or
of
read
the
in a book.
multiverse?
There's several multiverses, and you know, of course, multiverse theories out
Well,
there, and you know, of course, Marvel Comics and all the comics have taken, you know, a big advantage of that theory.
Right.
No surprise here. Marijuana makes marijuana users are happier and more successful in life.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Who says that you're going to be lazy and just eat Taco Bell?
Man, I hate Taco Bell.
You were kind of skeptical on this one. A study that showed that rice and water in a glass. They said one of them like thank you and I love you and all the loving emotions, and it fermented. After a month, the water fermented and it had a good smell to it. Then they had another one of rice and water in a glass, and they called it an idiot and like they hated you and yada yada. They were yelling at it.
Right.
And that one ended up turning black. And then they had one that they completely ignored, and that one began to rot. So, you know, and then of course there's different studies like where they've done like, you know, water and snowflakes and, you know, different things that, you know, shows the power of positivity, man. It's an emotion. It's an energy that you share with the universe.
Right.
It's like cooking your food with love.
Yeah, cooking your food with love. I prefer to use fire. Oxidation generally does an extremely good job of.
Fire.
Yeah.
Fire.
Fire.
Yeah. Fire.
Exactly. Shut up, Beavis.
Yeah. But who knew that idiocracy would come true like this soon, huh?
Who'd have thunk it?
So, the first
Icons.
pharmacy in the United States, I was telling you this a little bit earlier.
Oh, New Orleans?
New Orleans.
New Orleans, Louisiana.
Which what kind of I found surprising. I mean, maybe like in the continental United States,
Right.
and it was probably owned. You know, I mean, like, or it was run by the French. I would imagine.
Okay.
You know, it was like like Louisiana Purchase.
Well, yeah, that was New Orleans' purpose, to be like a major trade hub.
Right. Well, it was right on the mouth of the Mississippi.
Right.
You know, through the Gulf.
Right, and you export all those furs and whatnot
No doubt.
Yeah.
And so New Orleans has been around how long? I mean, I think it's like it just did the
Since
tricentennial.
Right, since Jesus was a baby.
But I mean, there was all kind of Indian action going on.
Oh,
you know,
well,
so-
no.
But
no,
New Orleans
Native
as a city
Americans,
is
right, but
just
this-
turned
but when
300
we
years
talk
old.
about New Orleans, we're talking about
But anyways, they had the first pharmacy, which also was secret voodoo potion exchange.
voodoo potion exchange.
Because of course they had all the witchcraft going on and the voodoo spells and the potions and because that what used to be pharmaceuticals back in the day. Is
Right.
grandma would come up with a potion for you.
Right,
You know,
because
and
sometimes you need a poultice on that
it would
particular
just
injury.
be like some honey and some,
Mustard
like some
and-
little daisies or whatever flower it was. Herbs.
Herbs. 11 herbs and spices.
What do people do for fun 100 years ago?
Played cards.
Play cards, read.
Really?
Um,
I thought I was the only one.
Kids, unsupervised play. Like you would roam through the forest.
Oh yeah, free range
Like-
kids.
Yeah, like go do whatever. Don't
was a
kill
free
yourself.
range kid.
Don't kill yourself. Every kid was until the 1980s.
Really?
There wasn't the helicopter parent until then, really. I mean, there's some, but the helicopter parent became more prevalent, in the 80s, 90s, and beyond.
No. I'm not saying no to what the point you're presenting. It's
I mean,
just
it's
like,
going up.
Right. Oh no, I totally buy it, and I hadn't thought about the whole. Well, mommy's gonna show up, and yeah, that's right about the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like all up in your kid's business. And now that like you're online, like, hey, I gotta have your password. I gotta be able to see your Facebook. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. You have no privacy. Blah 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 blah.
No, I didn't do that to my kids.
Well, you're one of the few.
I'm weird. Yeah.
Let's see, what else did they do? No vacations.
What?
Of course, 100 years ago. I mean, like,
Oh.
you didn't have
okay, if you're
most people
living,
didn't have cars, probably.
I know, but if you're living hand to mouth, I can understand no vacations. But if you've got any sort of non-menial labor skill to sell, you should be able to finagle some time off.
Right. Another common thing was roaming around and just kind of seeing like the different lays of the land in different areas.
They used
just
to,
walking.
or they don't now.
This was 100 years ago. Some common things that people did in their spare time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I did that when I was
So did I.
younger.
And baseball. Playing baseball was a very common thing for both genders. Like they would form teams of 6 and then play games. And,
Right.
It was a very common thing, in the early 1900s. So how about that? Let's see, we got about 3 minutes, something like that. How about the benefits of walking? Healthy?
Walking is
I'd say
supposedly
that's
good,
a good
for
thing.
you.
It's a very good thing.
Walk the dog.
Walking the dog. I need to do more of it. I try to stay committed to it. It's hard to do it if it's raining or if it's freezing cold, which
Right.
of course we get like this kind of weather in Louisiana. So-
Freezing cold.
Well,
Okay.
it goes from like, 80 degrees to 30 degrees
Right,
in like 2
right. Oh,
days and
yeah.
then back and, so. But some benefits of walking is that you can have a good mental balance. It helps refine your mental balance. Obviously, you lose weight. It can help cure cancer, build immunity, lower your blood sugar, lower cravings for other sugars, better your heart and your fitness.
Dang.
So walk. Walk the dog. Walk the dog. Don't just let him sleep in all day. That dog needs to get healthy too. Your dog is getting fat, America.
Your dog is getting fat, America. Yeah, what he said.
So, Lafayette highlights. How about times when Lafayette was so Lafayette in 2018?
How Lafayette was it?
They said, and this is from the Advertiser,
Right.
So, number one was the drag story time was postponed.
Yeah.
That was pretty Lafayette.
Yeah.
Number 2, car stolen. This guy had his car stolen, and then his coworkers bought him a car.
Wow.
Yeah, very
Wow.
nice of them. How about a UL professor got some backlash from the staff for having a more inclusive Acadiana flag.
Okay.
It like kind of had like a little African, Jamaican, like little part on the left.
Okay. Cool.
How about number 4? 1,000 animals were adopted in Lafayette this past year, which was a record.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Number 5, they made it illegal to have a free bus on Election Day.
Wow.
Yeah. Number 6,
Free
Chick-fil-A
bus.
was number 1 order on Waiter. Number 7, taxes were voted down. And number 8, of course, Verot and Collins Saloon construction continues.
Isn't it always going to be under construction?
It's always under construction.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, our show's always under construction mode. It's been a good
Day-Day.
show. Yeah, people of Lafayette.
We love you.
Thanks for watching. Shahid, thanks for doing your thing. And yeah, give us a holler. Go Saints! Who dat?
Who dat?
Who dat say they're gonna beat them Saints?
I thought they were going to beat them Tigers.
Tigers are college.
And